Hello and welcome to our video. We're going to be showing you our configurable strategy automator EA. Okay, so we've got the EA running on MetaTrader. When you first look at it, it looks quite busy with lots of controls, but it's really important that we keep the control panel as compact as possible so it doesn't take up too much space on your chart. Okay, so let's go through it. So the first thing we've got is our status lines for the sell and buy situation. Underneath that we've got our built-in indicators, and this is showing the direction for each of the time frames. So we've got 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes and so on, which is configurable. The arrow, if it's a solid arrow, that means there's been a reversal in that direction. A hollow arrow means it's just currently a retracement. The number is the number of pips that it's moved in that direction. The other indicators we've got is the weekly pivot, monthly pivot, support and resistance lines. So this is all built into the EA. We've also got the average daily range, the number of pips the currency pair normally does and the percent that it's done already today, and it's configurable to the average true range. We've got the spread shown and the ask and bid prices in large. Okay, so moving on, we've got, if we go down a little bit more, we've got our one-click trading buttons. There, the sell is currently orange because we've got the stop loss set automatically. We're currently in the buy situation. Underneath that we've got the amount to risk per trade, which is currently 3%. I mean, you can set that to whatever you like, and that pop-up is configurable. Or you can just put in a fixed amount, so you could just put in $100 and it just work out the lot size for you. And the lot size is calculated using our stop loss, which is over here. This is a hidden stop loss, so this EA supports hidden stop losses, sometimes called virtual stop losses, and hidden pending orders and take profit. And we've got a whole video called The Truth About Brokers that explains the reason why you need a hidden stop loss. We still do set a broker stop loss, but it's deliberately further away than where your true stop loss is. Okay, and then we've got our very important mode selection. At the moment we're on manual mode, but what it's possible to do is to configure the EA to look at your trading rules and can alert you when they line up, or you can get it to actually open a trade when your trading rules line up. And in terms of opening a trade, that can either just be a one-off, we call that semi-automatic, or you can set it to trade continuously, so if your trading rules line up again later on in the trading day or trading week, then it can open a trade again for you. The period is just the default for any indicator capture. 0 means whatever time frame your chart currently is, but you can lock it down to a particular time frame if you want to. We then get our stop loss setting. It's currently automatic, so that's using our built-in indicator. Because period is 0, that's going to be whatever the current time frame of the chart is. But you can select to be calculated from your rules, or just a set number of pips, and that list is configurable. Or you can select manual, which then allows you to just move the line on the chart and it will just recalculate the lot size for you. These are the take profit lines. They're moving because it's a fixed risk reward ratio. I'll just show you that in a moment, how we set the take profit lines. I'll just put that back to automatic for now. The trail mode, if that's selected, then when the trade is opened, it will then move the stop loss with whatever setting you've got for your stop loss. The take profit is currently set to, when it reaches that first line, it's going to exit 25%, then when it reaches the next line, 50% and so on, so it'll just scale out. That's completely configurable. You don't need to have 4 lines, you can just have 2 or 1, and you can control that through this TP. That's going to open up our little dialog there, and it's showing you each of the exit levels. So it's there, going to exit 25%, so obviously you can change that around. It's set to a automatic risk reward ratio, but you can just move the lines manually on the chart. The raise SL is a great feature. What it'll do is when it reaches the first target, it's going to exit, but it's going to raise the stop loss to break even when it exits 25%. Then when it reaches the second target, it'll exit 50% and raise the stop loss to whatever the first target was. So you kind of get a jump in stop loss effectively. Underneath that we've got our hidden pending orders. What's special about our pending orders is you can set them to trade, but you can also get them to just alert you as well when the price reaches. And what you can do is just move the lines on the chart and it'll automatically switch between a stop and limit mode depending on what you've selected. We've also got our little break-even option there, which is surprisingly useful actually. So what I'll do is when your trade's open and you want to set for break-even, you can just tick that box. And what's nice about that though is if you change your mind, you don't have to remember where the stop loss was. You know, if you move the stop loss to break-even, then it's quite difficult to change your mind. Now underneath here, this is a special area. This where it's with the darker background. This is actually configurable. So we do ship with some rules built in for doing automatic entry and exit when these indicators change, and you can select there whether it's going to include retracements or not. You can get it to do a exit as well when the arrow changes, race to break even automatically when a certain number of pips has been achieved in terms of profit, and a little button there to close all the trades that you currently have open on the account. Let's just open a trade. So let's just press that buy button. So as you can see now, the buy button's changed to a close button, and you can close a certain percentage of the trade as well if you want to. Although the buy button's disappeared, we've got a scale in button, so you can still add to your position. That'll be 25% of the original trade. You can see with the status now as updated, just reporting the profit there. Great little feature on the pending side. If we activate a pending line, what it'll do, you can see there it's scale in, so when it reaches that price it's going to scale in for you whatever you've set there. So that's a nice little feature, although I've actually got it on alert, so it would actually alert you when it reached that price. If you did want it to do the scaling for you, then you just switch to the trade mode, and if you change your mind you can just switch it off like that. Okay, so now we get on to the interesting part of the system, which is where you can configure it with your trading rules. So we've just put an indicator onto the chart. We're going to use the TDI, which is a custom indicator, Trader's Dynamic Index. You might be familiar with that one, it's quite popular. And we're going to be creating a trading rule where we're going to either raise an alert or open the trade when the green line crosses the 50 and the red has crossed the yellow line, and we'll do an exit when the green crosses the 50, we'll exit 50%, and when the red crosses the 50 then we'll exit 100%. Okay, so you probably noticed this config button, which allows you to configure the system and put in your own trading rules. Just have a look what's behind that. So the rules at the moment is just what we supplied the EA with, but what we can do is just reset that and we can create our own rules. So we just call it My Rules. So this is going to be creating a text file with our rules in it, and we're very happy to help you create this text file, so don't worry if I lose you a little bit when we do this. So the indicators we want to capture, well, that's going to be the three of them. We've got the TDI red, green and yellow. We're going to have one entry rule, one exit rule, and we'll also have a little tick box on the control panel that will just allow us to decide whether we want to use that TDI based exit or not. Then we just click create, and that's going to create the file, myrules.txt. So if you just go to the open data folder and we want to go to MQL4 files, and you can see it's been created there, the myrules.txt. Just let me show you though, this CSV file was actually from that trade that we opened earlier on, and it just lists the execution time and slippage for all your trades, and that's just a really useful little feature. Anyway, back to our configuration file. So we've got myrules.txt. So really it's just a matter of filling this file out with what you need, and I'll say again, we're happy to help you with this. So the first thing listed is the indicators, so we just need to give it a better name than that, so we'll call it TDI green. Okay, the name on MetaTrader, so that's the name that actually appears you know, on that navigation panel there, so we do need to set that, so that's going to be TDI. Color index, now each of these lines has a different color associated to it, and that has a different index for each of the colors. So we're setting at the moment TDI green, so that's number 4 at the moment, so we just want to put 4 in there. Okay, and then it's just a matter of setting the others. Well, let's just set the digits to 1, so that'll just show 1 digit past the decimal point. Then we'll just do the same but for the other colors. Okay, now we can set these GUI items, which is that little tick box that I mentioned we wanted to have. So it's going to be TDI exit on, caption TDI exit. Okay, now we can just save that. Oh, by the way, the text editor I'm using here is Notepad++. I mean, you can use just Notepad, that comes with Windows. What's nice about Notepad++, it gives you these line numbers, and it is a freeware utility, so do feel free to install that. Okay, so we save the file. So what we can do now is to test it. So we just press the test button and that passed the test OK. And what we can do now is click use as default. So it's going to switch now, instead of using our built-in rules, to using our new one. So you can see now I've got the TDI exits appeared. You may say that you perhaps would like some of the built-in rules that we've got. You can just copy and paste those back in. If you wanted something like the close all trades button, you can easily bring that back. So now what we can do is to carry on and write in our entry and exit rules. Okay, so let's go back to our file, and now we're ready to write our rules. Okay, so let's call this TDI entry, and the rule, the way it is, it's like as if you were to write it down on a piece of paper, and the format is we've got some flags which we don't need to set, and then we've put in our first operand, which is going to be, so we wanted the green to cross 50, so that's going to be TDI green, and it's an indicator, so we just put I dot at the start, and we want it to be greater than 50, so we just separate each of these. Now I'll say again, we're happy to help you with this file, so don't worry, there is a little bit of a learning curve, but when you get the hang of it, it's amazing because you can just automate all your trading rules. So the greater than 50 is for a buy situation, okay, but for a sell you need less than 50, but we've got a great little feature. If you just put a little slash there, it'll automatically invert that greater than to a less than when it evaluates the rule for a sell. So we want the to be greater than 50, and we want the TDI red to be greater than TDI yellow. And then if all that's okay, then we're going to signal trade open. Now what we can also put in these lines is what we call a fail comment. So if the line isn't passing, it can put on that status message shown on the EA why it's not. So we can put green not cross 50 and red not crossed as well. Okay, so that's our entry rule done. On the exit rule, it was going to be when the green is crossed 50, we exit 50%, so we can just actually just copy this. So when the green has gone less than, because we're in the buy situation, then we want to trade close. And we want to close 50% so that you can put in parameters after the brackets. So that's going to be 50, 50%. I mean, the fail comment is green is okay, so that's why it's not exiting. Now we remember we've put that little GUI item, so we could do with mentioning that as well. So the GUI items, that's G dot, it was TDI exit on equals, so we want that to be ticked. So we want for the exit to happen, so we just put, so if it's, basically the best way of doing it is if it's not been ticked, then just end evaluation. So we just won't go any further with the rule if that hasn't been ticked. Okay, and then we wanted the if both the green and the red have crossed 50, then we just want to do a trade close completely. So if you don't put any parameters in, it'll do a complete close. Otherwise, if that line fails, then the red is okay. And we just need to give the rule name something a bit nicer than rule name 2. Let's call it TDI exit, just so it shows up nicely on our status. Alright, so there we are, we're ready to go. So let's just give that a save. Let's go back to config. Let's just test what we've done. Oh yes, excellent, we've got it right. And then we just need to click use as default, so it'll just reread that and actually take that those rules into consideration. Right, so a good thing to do first is just check that the indicator values have been captured correctly. So we've got a little tools down here, print indicator values, which will print it in the experts window. So you see there we've got the TDI green, red and yellow, and it matches those values there. So that's great. And now what we can actually do is activate these rules. So at the moment we're still on manual mode, but if we click now for alert, so you can see we've got an alert there. So this is because of the rule that we've just set up. So we'll just click OK on that. And if we just enable for the sell, just get the right one. Whoops. Just one there. So you can see now for the on the sell side, green not crossed 50. So in terms of sell, we're still in the buy situation there, so that's why we didn't get an alert there. And don't worry, you can set the rules to alert you when it's actually a fresh signal. So when it's just first crossed, that's okay. It's easy to do. If we actually then opened a trade, let's open that buy trade, and if we activated the TDI exit, if we just switch that back to manual for now, you can just see now on this buy, it's at the moment with the exit the green's okay, but when that goes bad it'll exit that 50% and then 100% when the red has crossed as well. Okay, so obviously this was a very quick overview. We've only really just scratched the surface in terms of what's possible with this rules engine. And don't forget, we're very happy to help you write that text file, so don't worry about that. And everything is compatible with the strategy tester and with the optimizer, so you can use it to optimize your rules and try different values and so on. We also have some other videos. We've got the Truth About Forex Brokers that explains all the reasons that we have these hidden stop loss, hidden pending orders. We'll also put links to the product page on the MetaTrader marketplace and on our own website, and also links to some other videos we'll show there on the right hand side of your screen, which will take you through that multiple account capability and some other features as well. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. We're there at support@runwiseFX.com.